sitting by here thinking about it, and the old Saturday Night Live skits come to mind with the newsroom or the Lappin. Remember the Lappin guy with the news thing? But this isn't the news. This is 9 o'clock, and we are live at 9 o'clock on BC. And behind the camera is Josh, the voice of Spirit Cars. So we're 9 o'clock live with the show with no name. Last week I did this, and I did nothing but ramble for about 40 minutes. And tonight we did come down, and about 20 minutes ago start setting up the shop. And I think we have some sort of format for tonight's show, but I'm not sure that's what our ultimate format's going to be. But I still need a name. Last week we had a question and answer time, and we're going to do that again today. I'm going to go into the shop, and we're going to go through 2 or 3 or 4 projects. I don't know what we got lined out up there. And then we're going to come back into the office. And then when I get back in the office, Josh will be at the computer, and we'll be answering some questions. If you have any questions, you can start posting them now in the comments. And we'll try to get to as many as we can. Last week we had an awful lot of them, so we'll do that again this week. So that'll be the last 10 or 15 minutes of the show. We're doing a contest. We've been doing a contest all week. And I think the prize, if we determine the prize is going to be a metal sign?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have a metal sign. Any share that has been done this week from our live at 11:05 or any of those programs during this week, you can even go back and share some of the earlier ones. You can share this one, you can share tomorrow's. At 12 o'clock, we're going to take all the names and put them in a hat, and we're going to pull a name out, and Josh is going to make a really cool sign, a metal sign on the Plaza table. And I mean, they're really cool signs when we sell them. What do we sell them things for? They sell for a lot, don't they?
Yep.
Yep. What does that mean? $100, $80, $150?
Usually they've been going about 75.
75. Okay, so you'll probably get about a $75 sign, and that contest will end tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Whatever shares there are, Josh will take care of that, and you'll see the sign when probably on Mondays, 11:05. Next week, we need a name for this thing. So we're going to need another good prize. We don't know what it's going to be. But here's the prize is going to be something, but what I need is a name. And these are some of the names from last week. Sideline Video, Straight Talk with BC, A Flippin' Cool Car Show, or A Flippin' Cool Show, Car Talk, Bucket Dreams, Cruising Through Life, The Spirit of Cruising, Bob's Corner, In the Spirit of Hot Rodding, The Hot Rod Spirit, Cruising Spirit, Prime Time Cruising, and Tea Time with Spirit. Some awesome names here, and after reading these last week, I decided I'm not even going to think about it. You guys have got awesome names. We're just going to go the rest of this week, and by next Thursday, we're going to have a name. And it's going to be a name that one of you all come up with. And hopefully it's a name that's going to last for a long time, and in 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, you can go, hey, I named that, but all I got was this stinking prize. But we're going to make it a nice prize. So anyway.
How about them cool cars behind you there?
Oh, man. He keeps trying to give away my car collection. I got now. We'll have a cool prize. One way or another, it'll be a good one. And it won't be this desk. I've had this desk, this front end laying around for years, literally, out back, and we did a show with MAP TV. They came up, and so I said, all right, fine, we'll do it, but I want to build a desk. So I built this desk, and
it was a Motorhead Traveler.
Motorhead Traveler was on that show. So if you've seen that show, we were doing that. And one of my projects out here, and my desk is not for sale, and I like my patina on this desk. I really considered painting it really cool, but right now I like it. I may paint it in the future, but I'm a dirty kind of guy. When I work, I'm working. I have had this old Chevy rear end for a long time now. I just started not too long ago. I cut it up, kind of fitted it. I got some metal in the back here.
Oh,
that was a surprise for you in a little while, but we don't really have a place for it here. I mean, I'll get it done, and I don't want to just look at it. So, what do you think? We gonna sell it?
Sure.
Sure.
Anything's for sale.
Everything's for sale. So I'll push this project ahead. I don't know what kind of pace, but if anybody wants a really cool Chevy, and I mean I'm going to make it nice. I don't want to sell it to you like it is. It's not for sale like this. I can paint it red, I can paint it blue, I can paint it whatever color, but it's going to be painted nice. We need to put new chrome on it, new nice stuff. I want a chrome bumper, be up on legs. Fast Eddie will upholster it. I can see it. It's there. It just ain't finished. So I want to get this done. If you don't want a couch, a lot of people have, if you ever have seconds. And that doesn't happen very often. But when it does happen, we don't like to sell them. So this was a bucket we built, and the other side pre-released. So I said, all right, rather than throw it all away, let's just cut this off. So how about a sign for your wall? I got a foam block over there. Hey, I got that old Chevy foam block. We bought a new one, didn't we?
Yep.
So I had a foam block that was kind of falling apart. We could cut that in half so you could have a foam block motor, put some headers on it, some tires out in front, and some tires on the back, maybe a half of a bed if you want a bed on there. I got me half a C cab out front, and I got half a 27. I'm going to build signs out front, but we can sell you any one of them, I guess. So
Everything's for sale.
everything's for this is sales today. This is an infomercial. So this is a project. And if you got a restaurant or something like that, we'd love to build it too. So we could make this attached to the wall, and it'd be a pretty cool sign, or just a cool wall hanging.
Or a bowling alley.
A what?
Or a bowling alley.
A bowling alley? Yeah.
I see Larry's watching.
Okay. And speaking of bowling alleys, this is Larry's car. Not Jerry, but Larry. We've been working on this a little bit, and we're going to get going on it pretty hardcore next week. And I think I've got a commitment, not next Thursday, but in 2 weeks, Thursday, from our paint supplier. They're going to send a rep over. So on Thursday night, we're going to actually go through, and I'm going to have a paint rep from PPG, and we're going to go over paint products. R&E Automotive, they've got a big online store too, so they'll be here. And I believe we'll have this car pretty close for paint. And if we're not painting it, we'll at least have it close enough to show you some things in priming. What we did on this so far this week, these are old Pontiac taillights. And we kind of Frenched them in, but in my world of fiberglass, we use some tubing and PVC and glass and bonding materials instead of welding. But it come out pretty nice, and it's got wheel tubs. We had to move the wheel tubs in a little bit. We got that done. This car is it's one of them project cars that if you watch next week, we're probably going to focus on this. I'm going to spend a lot of my time getting this car ahead. We're going to finish the interior up. Most of the interior is going to be painted. It'll get an overhead console. We filled it had the vent. So we took and filled that vent, the cowl vent. So I'll do body work on that tomorrow. We took and cleaned up the windshield frame and polished that. Maybe I'll show you some polishing or something. But that'll all be during next week. What else we got? I have been teasing Tom. And Tom, you'll probably be watching this at some point or another if you're on there now. This is it. This is a Model A Roadster. And Spirit does have probably one of the most complete lines of Model A's of anybody on the market. Obviously, I'm a little prejudiced and I really like our product, but we do have a 2829 coupe, we have a 3031 coupe, we have a 2829 sedan, we have a 2829 sedan delivery, we have a 3031 sedan delivery and a sedan, and this is a Model A Roadster. And this is a Model A Roadster. My world of hot rodding and Henry Ford's world of making transportation affordable for the average guy are a little different. We try to make the car as appearing as possible. But when you buy a Spirit car, we may call it a 1923 Ford T-Bucket, but it's our version of that. If you buy our Model A's are chopped, are channeled sometimes. There's a lot of modifications. So this car the way it's set up, we've been calling some of our Model A's an A-rod. And the reason we call it an A-rod is because we put it on the 27 chassis. And this jig here is the same as our 27 chassis. You can see it's channeled over. So if you look on the side of the car, you won't see the frame. A Model A has a flat floor in it, and a Model 8 frame is just not really pretty. It's designed to have the fenders over it and the running boards and everything. You don't really see the frame. So you can do a highboy look. There's just a lot of ways to build a car. We make a 32 pinch rail frame that you can put under a Model A. What I'm doing with this car, we had the mold. We've already done the prototype, the plug, and I built the mold. But the mold had a dash similar to that. Well, it doesn't work good with a modern V8 engine. You need to have a recess of some sort. So I've recessed this. You can kind of see it's still in Bondo. So this wasn't directly out of the mold. So what I'm going to do is build a mold off of my firewall now. So I'll have this, it's about a 4-inch, almost a 4-inch option on a recessed firewall. On our T-buckets, if anybody knows our product very well, we have an insert in our T-bucket. And when we did that, it worked out really nice, and then you can drop in the seat right into that, and the insert sturdies the whole car up. So I had the idea, why don't we just try to put an insert into this one for the A-Rod model, and I started doing that. So I had some parts and pieces. I think we used this seat for the back of a Model A sedan, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what, I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but nonetheless, I had these parts. Kind of made it fit. I'm really in the thinking process. Do I want to go here? Do I want to come in here? I just cut this and mocked it up. I kind of joke around. I'm an engineer. I'm a papered engineer. Here's the kind of paper I got that says I'm an engineer. Here's an idea. What are we going to do with this? How are we going to come around, and where's that go? So we cut shapes and pieces. So I'm kind of liking this. I'm bending it around. You can see this fits better, but that don't fit at all, so I'm going to have to cut that and bend it in. And when I'm done with the insert, it's going to come down to, do I even like it? So hopefully I like it. We build a mold out of it. We'll have an insert available on the Model A Roadster. You can do it without the insert. You can put seats in there. It sits real deep. It's a really cool looking car. I've got the dash. I'm just fitting this in now. One of the reasons I've got this cowl section here, there's a few areas that I don't like to compromise on, and one is the windshield area, because it's kind of tough to get windshield posts, whether it be for a 23 or a 32, any of them. If I can have something that fits the original car, this area, that means you can take original posts, or you can take multiple of companies are making aftermarket parts. So we've really tried, when I do our engineering on a plug, make the parts as available as possible. When we do a chassis, we use GM rotors and calipers and what do we got? A Vega steering box are available. We don't want to have to go looking in the junkyards for
GM column,
60-year-old parts or so. We want to build these cars so you can go to the parts store. There are certain parts on the car that wear out. It's basic maintenance, like brakes and things like that. So at least in spirit, we try to put a bearing adapter on that 27 or 37 to 49 spindle. We press a bearing adapter on it so you can put the bearings and use a modern rotor and caliper. Another project we got going on. This car is available now, and it's available in different versions. And if you push me hard, I can get this mold made. And I don't know, do we even have a price on this thing yet?
No,
No.
because we don't know what with the insert and all that. So
If you call, we can come up with something. It's not in the catalog, but it is available. Like a lot of things. Here's a personal project. I was saying about, if you can catch it from this side maybe. This is a 27, and this is kind of like hot rodding. It ain't out of the catalog hot rodding. Had an old Corvette rear end, so just threw the Corvette rear end under it. We took the 32 frame rails and we took our 27, and I put a flat floor in it to sit on top of the frame rails for 32. I modified the trunk to fit around. It's kind of hard to see, but I've taken every bit of space I could get in the trunk area. So it actually legitimately has a trunk. I threw a rear balance on. I think that was something we use on our Model A's.
Yes.
So I've just been building this car, and I can see it in my mind. I want to do a Duval style windshield. I think that would look pretty tough on it. And this is an extreme pinch on the front here. I really had when I pinched it, I had to do a lot of work to mock up and get the springs to work right. Got the wishbone style front suspension. It's kind of an old school look there. I've had a 34, or modified 34 that actually will fit on the T-bucket. It's got the back side of it's a T-bucket grill shell, a 23 grill shell, and it comes down with a 34. And I'm going to put that on it, and it'll have a clean wedge look to it with the Duval windshield. I'm looking forward to getting this one done. Again, I just had an old motor. I put a fuel injected motor. I got a transmission. I'll clean it up. They ran good, didn't smoke, but I guess everything's for sale.
Everything's for sale.
Everything's for sale. But this one, I wanted to see it go out of here finished. My goal was for it. Josh, the big Razorback fan. My son graduated from there. This car would be really cool, red, with a white leather interior maybe. Put you a hog on the side of it. You just go over, watch them hogs, woo, pig suey, and we're ready to go. So we've been probably doing this, what do you think, about 15, 20 minutes now? Here's some projects we got going on. This is kind of, some of them I got to get done. Some I've talked about a week or so ago are already done and out. We just can't video everything. We'll do as much as we can. Let us know what of these projects you'd like to see. I'm going to go in the office. We'll go in Josh's office now and see if there's any questions. This is another one I said we can do. We're always building frames. This is a jig for 32 frame rails, so we can go ahead and at some point we'll get some welding in. We haven't done any welding on our tech yet. Well, welcome to Josh's office. This is the headquarters. This is the nerve center here. So when you call in, there's Josh behind the computer, and
let's see if we got any questions.
See if we have any questions.
Yeah, here's a question from Jeremy. As we approach fall, winter, should I swap out my summer air with winter air to keep my tires from freezing?
Okay, this is from Jeremy.
Jeremy,
I always say that there is no dumb question except the one you don't ask. So I guess there is no. Jeremy sounds like an engineer. He's a pretty technical guy. When I think about hot rods versus the newer cars, now some of the technology on the newer cars, it amazes me that they can tell you what your tire pressure is, if your tire is low or this or that. I don't even know how they do that. So if you got a newer car, you don't really need to worry about that issue because it automatically switches it out. There's a temperature sensor underneath the motor there. You just got to be aware there's a little light usually that they'll tell you if your sensor goes out. So if that light is flashing, you may want to take it to the dealership. But other than that, you really don't need to worry about it because it switches automatically. Come fall, about this time of year, it starts getting a little cooler, and I know you don't want your wrong air in your tires. That's always bad. Jeremy's an engineer, probably. I think.
Probably.
Yeah, I think he works in the over-engineering department over at Wingnut Incorporated, doesn't he? Isn't that the Jeremy I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, I got a story though about hot rodders. This is the way we do it. I don't worry about all that technical stuff, changing air and this and that. This is a true story. Been doing cars a long time, since I was 16, something like that, out of my parents' garage, building custom cars, always wanted a T-bucket, never got my first T-bucket until I was probably, had my shop down here, probably when Spirit started. That would have been about 94. So our first prototype car, we're building it. I got a picture of it somewhere. I got grandma in the car. We had a loader up in it. Didn't have doors or nothing. She had her babushka on. It was great. But when that car first got fired up, you need to put more gas in it, right? Well, I didn't have my throttle hooked up yet. And luckily I didn't have the windshield in it yet. So I didn't even have a string. I had to get a piece of wire. So I took a piece of wire and I wrapped it onto the carburetor. And I drove that thing to the gas station with the wire, just pulling the throttle to go. So that's about as technical as I get sometimes on hot rodding. The key to that's not a safe way to do it, but it is the excitement that happens when you build your first car and it fires up for the first time. It's pretty exciting. And we're going to be doing that next week, aren't we? We didn't get all the parts for...
They should be here any day for that red car.
What's the name on the car?
John.
John. We didn't get all the parts for John's car, but it's a turnkey 23, and we're down to the little bit of motor dress up and the fire up. So if you watch it 11:05 next week, one of the days next week, I'm just confident we're just going to finish up one. And as many times as we've done it, I always get excited every time the car fires up for the first time.
Guy asked, do you make or sell a turtle deck for your T-buckets? Yes, we do.
We do, absolutely. And actually, it's a nice one, and I'm changing up the mold a little bit, but it depends when you order it. I would say you may have the first one out of the new mold, but we've offered that for quite a while, and maybe Josh could put a picture of one in the comments after the show's over.
Calvin said, is it going to have a roll pan in the rear? I don't know if he's talking about the Model A or Larry's car. Maybe he'll...
Or the turtle deck.
The Roadster or the... No, this was before. Is it going to have a rolled pan in the rear? So I don't know if he's talking about Larry's car or the Roadster.
A roll... I mean, the rolled pan is cool. I mean, sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't, depending on the car, depending on what the customer wants, depending on how much room we got with the rear end, with the type of rear end we do. It's definitely a style that doesn't ever go out of style.
Can you channel a C-cab to get it lower? It's already
We're working
channeled.
on a Model A we just finished from last week that it was a Z frame sedan, and you could do a Z frame C-cab. You could channel it a little bit more. Life is all about compromises, and what will happen if you channel it too far onto the frame, then you're losing a lot of your room for where you sit. And if your legs aren't up high enough, from your seat riser, it does get kind of uncomfortable unless you're actually laying in a sports car. But you can do it one or two ways. I would say we could probably go another inch and still keep it comfortable on the seat cab, or you could Z it and get as radical as you wanted and put that thing on the ground.
That's it.
We're still looking for names. Got any names for this Thursday night show? We'd like to continue to keep on doing it. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. This show is not for us. I could be home with the family right now. I don't need home videos, but this show is your show. This is really with the social networking the way it is, and what we want to do is just facilitate the hot rod community. Once we get our technology a little moved ahead, that we can have live feeds coming in. You can show your projects. We can prearrange that, and we can discuss some of the projects that are going on at your house We can do a lot of video mixing, so we can have some editing as we're still live and show some of the projects. Our main goal is to be a technical show. Our main goal is to help you accomplish building your car. We have no real desire, no real intention to be a reality show where I've got to come up with some goofy thing to do every day and to try to entertain you that way. This is more of a how it's made kind of thing, tailored to the hot rod world. Although we do move out, I do some welding sculptures, I do some like furniture, we do lots of different things. So we may not always talk just about cars, but it's going to stay pretty focused on hot rod cars. And we'll also be doing some body work on restoration kind of stuff too. We'll kind of branch out of that and keep it more than just the factory stuff. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to finish with a quote from Ernie, the hot rod man.
We got a couple of Spirit Speaks, BC's Hot Rod Hangout. 2 more came in.
Well, keep the names coming. I'm loving the names, and by next week, I think we'll have a name picked, because there's already 2 or 3 or 4 good ones. And remember, share the videos from this week. I looked at our Facebook page. They are like, it's starting to fill up with videos. So if you share them videos, Josh tomorrow at about noon, he's going to grab all the names, put it in a hat, and make. Do you know what sign you're going to make? You're going to make it Hot Rod Highway, or?
I don't know. It's a surprise.
It's a surprise, but it'll be a cool sign. We make some pretty cool metal signs. So we'll let everybody know Monday, and if you're not watching the show, we'll email you, get back to you. The name thing next week.
So here's the question: how are we going to pick the name? Are we just going to throw it in a hat and draw it out, or?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just have to pick the names, put them in a hat.
Or we get all of them together, and when whoever gets the most likes, whichever one gets the most likes.
Well, let's just do the share. So
yeah.
If you shared it anywhere, and now it's anything that we can see on our Facebook page, we'll go down, everyone, open it up, take the names. I've shared it myself. Those names won't be in there, and if Josh or any of the families shared it, those names won't be in there. We want to give somebody this thing, because when I show it next week, if you're not the person that won it, you're going to want to buy it. So that hot rod, we don't have any of them in here, do we?
Sold them all.
Sold them all. Well, I'll be right back. Well, where's the fish at?
It's right there.
Another fish.
I don't know. We could
Not a
always
good example, but we just made prototype of this fish for Cotter. We bid it. They're gonna hang up 50 of them or whatever on their poles. So it's just be a sign like that.
That'd be pretty cool though, to give one of those, have Dwayne paint it or you paint it and give it away as a. Be pretty cool. Who knows?
Who knows? Something. So if we don't have no other questions, I'm just going to give you a quote and head to the house.
Yep.
Believe it or not, my daughter, Josh's wife, is babysitting a. What is she babysitting?
A miniature pig.
Yes. So everybody was at the house eating. My kids are in, and we just left, had our sloppy joes, and I have a pig running around my house. That is the honest to goodness truth. So, to end today, this is a quote from the Hot Rod Man. A fool looks for happiness in the future, but the wise create it in the present. So have a happy evening. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow at 11:05.